Hey, y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Today I have with me Director of Athletics from Dillard University, Dr. Kiki Baker Barnes. Hi, Dr. Barnes. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Thank you for coming. And, I love saying your entire name. It so fits your personality, bubbly and fun.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, I haven't spoken with you since last year. So, around this time last year, we were in our second month of COVID. How are things going? Everything is going well?
Well, we have made it through all of our seasons. I will tell you, when we had initially talked, we were concerned about whether or not we were going to make it through the basketball season. But
Right.
we were able to get through basketball. We got through volleyball and track. And on the track side, my men's track program was able to win the conference championship. So we got a really good double blessing. That's what I like to call it, with them having the opportunity to finish first and win that championship, especially since these kids, those experienced their championship being taken away due to COVID the year before. So
Right.
It was especially special for them, being that they hadn't competed in a year.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That is that's great. And I know, the kids, are glad that there's some normalcy coming back. It's still a pandemic, but things are getting better, thank God.
They are. We were able to host a senior night. So, one of the things you think about, this pandemic took away traditions and things that you often do. So usually during the basketball final home game, we usually acknowledge all the seniors from all of the sports, because that's usually our biggest audience, So
Right.
we honor the track kids, the cheerleaders, the dance team, everybody. Everybody gets acknowledged on basketball senior night. Well, of course, we weren't able to have fans. So, we were able to host a special event that was dedicated strictly to the seniors, because, again, some of the COVID restrictions have been lifted, and, it was okay for us to gather as long as we had a mask. A lot of people have gotten the vaccine. So it was so exciting. And I remember sitting up thinking, I can't believe this is the first time I'm seeing some of our student athletes in person.
Wow.
I even with the conference championship, I tried to stay away from, I didn't interact much with people. So I really hadn't spent any time outside of connecting with them via a virtual platform. So it was very exciting to be able to honor them and to have a special ceremony just to say thank you. And we know you've gone through a lot, but guess what? We're coming out on the other side of this, and, hopefully, you can come out of this a little bit better, graduate, and move on to the next chapter in your life. So we've been able to have three actually in-person gatherings since the vaccination process has started.
Mm-hmm.
So senior night one was the first one. We had our what we call our decision day, where we work with our enrollment team. They bring in students who are thinking about coming to the university, to do a signing, even
Right.
though they may not be athletic, just a regular student. I think it's really interesting that, the admissions teams and enrollment management teams are taking on signing day like athletics.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to do that in person maybe a couple of weeks ago, and we had a faculty staff award ceremony today. So
Wow, that's great. Yeah,
we're getting there.
We're getting there. You're right. And before we start talking about why I wanted you to come on the show, I told you via Facebook, but happy Deltaversary. We both had anniversaries last month.
Yes.
So I know, yeah. So I was like, wow. Of course, it seems like everybody's in April. But
Absolutely.
there were so many people. But, I just wanted to tell you that. But, so, Doc, I brought you on the show today to discuss something that you are doing in the world of sports for women, and I have to get the word out.
I'm so excited. Thank you.
I know. Please tell us about your program, So You Want a Career in Athletics. And before you do, first of all, I love that name. And secondly, what made you decide to give it that name?
Well, So you want a career in athletics. I got the name from another program when I was coaching, because when I first started in Dillard, I was the athletic director and the head women's basketball coach. So I was a member of the WBCA, Women's Basketball Coaches Association, and they started a program called So You Want to Be a Coach. And the So You Want to Be a Coach program was a program offered to coaches who are in the WBCA. We can nominate young individuals who are graduating from college, in their senior year, to be a part of this program, and they would get to attend the NCAA Final Four WBCA convention, where they would go through mentoring, they'd get training, and hopefully, of course, by the time they get through this program, they hopefully land a grad assistantship, to start their graduate school, as well as start off their coaching career. And so the goal around it was, again, to help increase more women in sport, and, of course, we're strengthening the pipeline of women's basketball coaches. So after I decided that I was going to transition from coaching to be a full-time administrator, I started thinking, well, what is it that we can do to help strengthen the pipeline of young women in the administrative roles? It's very interesting that when you hear people talk about it, you think about who's doing all the hiring. Most of the hiring is done by white men, because those are the people that are mostly in those positions. So when you think about So You Want to Be a Coach, and they're trying to increase women in coaching basketball, wouldn't it be great if there were women in administration who could hire those women in coaching? So it was like, I felt like it just made sense. It was like, this is what I want to do. So you want a career in athletics. I want young women in sport to know that, hey, maybe you don't want to coach, maybe you don't want to play professionally, but guess what? You can be an administrator, and there are so many different areas you can be an administrator. You can be in marketing, development, student-athlete development. I'm trying to think if you wanted to do sports media, broadcasting. Like, there's just so many different avenues in athletics. So I named it So You Want a Career in Athletics, and here we are, 3 years later, still rocking and rolling.
So what is the mission for SYWACIA?
So the mission is to strengthen the pipeline of women administrators, women athletic administrators. Now, when you look at the number of women that are athletic directors, that number is very small. And, of course, the higher you get, the smaller the number gets. And so the idea is that we will start focusing on young women who are already participating in high school sports and those who are in college. So I am looking to start exposing those young women to the network of administrators, women administrators in the country now, as well as provide professional development support in terms of helping them understand what a career path would look like to be an administrator. And so that's kind of, that's the goal, helping them create a network and giving them some of the necessary tools that they will need if they decide they want to pursue a career in sport. And knowing that we're doing that a little bit earlier, I think helps really strengthen the pipeline. A lot of the work right now that exists in the programming that exists in the industry is all for people who are already in a career. So meaning that I was athletic director, and then I became a member of Women Leaders in College Sports, and then there was a program that I could go to and I got training, but I'm already in. What about the young women who are participating and are trying to figure out how they can continue to be connected to sport, or they want to have a desire to get into sport? So I am trying to reach these young women a lot earlier than what our industry associations are doing. So I have an academy this summer that I'm really excited about. I've been doing So You Want to Career in Athletics for 3 years now. I started it in 2018. It started out initially as a half-day event in conjunction with National Girl and Women in Sport Day. That's where we started. I invited some of my colleagues across the country to come in and speak to the young women, and then they would go attend a game, and we were done. In 2019, I was able to go to Kansas City. I was able to do 2 that year. I did one with with National Girl and Women in Sport Day in February, and then we did another one in Kansas City in coordination with International Day of the Girl. So it's like, okay, we're expanding, and we had a great time, right? We moved to 2020. I was able to work out a deal and do a collaboration with the Pelicans. So I've done that for the past 2 years, and then when COVID hit, I transitioned it into some webinars that I did. I did a series of 7 webinars during the COVID summer to kind of keep it going. And it also helped me to see a different way of really connecting with more young women. We wound up reaching, I think, young women from like 26 states, 2 countries. Wow. I think over 186 participants, I think, we wound up reaching. So I said, okay, but we got to keep it going. Like, it's just not enough. I feel like we get plenty of inspiration in these particular events, but I'm looking to do something more transformational. So I said, I think it's time that we expand it and create a full academy. We have 3-4 days. We bring a cohort of young women in, high school cohort, and then a college cohort or early professional cohort. And then we work with them and plan to stick with this particular cohort throughout the year. And I felt like this was the time to do it. So on July 8th through 11th, we have set our dates for our first virtual academy.
Yay!
Yay!
Awesome. And so, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. Was it in person or both Zoom and in person? But it is Zoom only, correct?
Yes, it'll be virtual this year only. I definitely will be having it in person when come 2022. But for this year, it will be virtual, and I am really excited. I feel like this is like my dry run or whatever they call it when you try something out. This will be my first time again expanding it for longer than a day. So I'm really thrilled about that. But we have a beautiful agenda set that will be transformational for the young women who come through the program. And most of all, we're establishing community, a community where they can be connected to other young girls who may be interested in doing the same things, as well as now being connected to industry professionals where they can reach out and lean into as they're trying to discover their path.
That's awesome. So, Doc, how can teens and young women register who are eligible for the amazing event? And when is the deadline?
Okay, so the deadline to register is this Friday, May 14th, 2021. The beautiful thing about this is we do have scholarships available.
And
yes, I did a fundraiser for my birthday this year, and I asked people to donate to support a young woman to attend this transformational opportunity. And so we were able to raise the money for the scholarships, and all they have to do is apply. And then I will review, and if I get more than the scholarship amount, I'll probably accept them all. But I do have a set number right now that I am trying to work with, because I want to make sure that I do it well and that they have a great experience. So they just need to apply. They can go to sywacia.com to apply.
Okay. And also, I so wish I could be a recipient of this program, but since I can't, I would definitely be donating to the cause. How can others donate? No! Yeah. How can others donate? I wish somebody had something like this, when I was growing up. But how can others donate to this wonderful cause?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, look, you done got me.
Stop that.
Oh,
girl, this is amazing to me. I really appreciate you doing this for these young ladies. I mean, again, what if we had something like this when we were growing up? It would have made things so much easier. It really would have.
Well, I'll tell you, that is the other impetus for this. It's about us getting to the young people earlier and making sure that they have the best chance possible and that they have all of the knowledge. That's what we're trying to do. But you can actually go to that same website, sywacia.com, and at the bottom or to the side menu, you'll see Become a Sponsor. If you go to that, click on that link, it will take you to the page where you can make a donation to the program. You'll also get a chance to see pictures from some of my previous events. I've got some videos from a couple of the other events. Yeah, it's a labor of love. I feel like it's my mission. It's what God has given me to do, and I'm going to stay focused. And I am going to make sure these young people are given every resource that we can find to be available to them for them to be successful.
Awesome, and they definitely will if they act. If they come to this program and get the wisdom and the knowledge that they need to move forward in their sport career, later on in their lives. So I really hope they take advantage of it. I mean,
yeah. Well, I tell you what. Yes, I think it's really critical. We really want young women who really want to learn and are wanting to pursue a career. They want to connect. I will say this so that those who are thinking about registering or understand that we will have an expectation for them to be engaged and be on camera during the event. You just really can't connect if you just stay off camera the entire time. So we know that sometimes there are circumstances, but we really are going to we're going to do some pre-engagement work prior to the event, so that hopefully we can start building the community and some trust, because that's important. So they may feel, because they're younger. So we're going to try to do some things like that. I have mentees of mine who will serve as kind of like big sisters, and they are in college now. They're already. They're my mentees, so I'm coaching them already. So they will have the opportunity to connect with them, and they're going to do some of that pre-work for me in terms of, again engagement. So I think that's really important for people to know. Like, again, you have to kind of be on camera and be prepared to engage once we get into the actual training. So It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I bet you it will be. I know it will. And, before I let you go, little birdie told me you were actually working on the book. Again, I don't understand where you get the time to do all of this stuff. How? Is God giving you is God giving you favor and giving you extra hours in the day that we don't know about?
No, but I will tell you that I spent there's a lot of sacrifices that I do right now that I've done for the past few years, where I haven't taken much personal time and done things that I want to do for myself to kind of get these things done. So I've had this book on my vision board for 2 years, and it's time. So the book is dropping this year. Y'all be ready. It's coming soon. More information to come soon. The Academy is coming. Like, it's time to get this stuff moving forward. God gives you things for reasons. So it's really critical that when he gives you something, you get it done.
You get it done.
So it's time to get it done.
Well, I will be looking for the book, and I will be bringing you back on when you have it so we can discuss.
Yes.
I got to bring you back. But Dr. Barnes, as always, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. Please tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media, and give out that information one more time regarding SYWACIA.
Okay. So I have a couple of ways. You can follow me personally on all platforms at Kiki Baker Barnes. Like, that is me on so that's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm at Kiki, and Kiki is spelled Kiki, KIKIBAKER But so you want to career in athletics, it's at SYWACIA on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also go to the website, www.sywacia.com, to apply for a scholarship to attend the virtual academy.
Awesome. And guys, you can follow me at She Say Sports on Facebook, She Say Sports 23 on Instagram. And that's my show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports, and I'll see you on the radio.